Very good evening, everyone. So let's begin with our presentation session. So those who want to give presentation, please raise your hands. We will go in accordance with the raised hands. Rinki,
Yes, ma'am.
yes, you can start your presentation.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, is my screen visible to you?
Yes, it's visible. You can start.
Ma'am, may I start now?
Yes, you can start.
Okay. So, greetings everyone. My name is Rinki and I am from Cloud Computing Department and my project name is Cloud Engineering Internship Program. And the task allotted to me is get started with AWS S3. So, this is my table of contents. Introduction to AWS S3, types of storage, features of S3, benefits of S3, Amazon S3 concept, and then live demonstration, then storage class in S3, and the last conclusion. So now, what is S3? Amazon S3. Millions of people and thousands of companies use AWS cloud computing technology every day. But among the most effective and valuable tool in the AWS package is S3, a unique program that allows individuals to store and protect data, objects, and buckets in the cloud. Amazon Web Services S3, sometimes called Amazon S3, stands for Amazon Simple Storage Service. It is one of the AWS many programs and is designed to store, protect, and then allow customer to retrieve data from discrete buckets anytime and anywhere on any appropriate device. Now, we talk about the types of storage. There are many types of storage, but S3, Simple Storage Service, EBS, Elastic Block Storage, EFS, Elastic File System, Amazon S3 Glacier. These are some types of storage. Now we talk about the features of AWS S3. Bucket policy, live management, data protection, and web hosting. These are the features of AWS S3. First, we talk about the bucket policy. Bucket policy allows you to set some permissions on the bucket using IAM policy on AWS. Now, lifecycle management. Amazon S3 allow you to handle the life cycle of an object stored in it. There are two events allowed for handling various operations using the life cycle of an object. That is transaction action and expiration action. First, we discuss about transaction action. This action is helpful when you want to move object to another storage class. You can configure S3 to move your data to a different storage class on a defined schedule. Now we discuss about expiration action. This action is helpful when you want to remove the object after a period of time. Any object which are marked as expired will no longer be available for access. Now we discuss about data protection. Amazon S3 also have some inbuilt features which can be used for data protection. Some of them are cross-region replication, versioning, data encryption. First, we talk about cross-regional replication. This feature allows you to auto-replicate the data stored in one region of the Amazon S3 to another region in AWS. Now we talk about versioning. As the versioning can be enabled on the bucket to version object and store them with all the changes. Now, data encryption. Data stored in the Amazon S3 can be encrypted using Amazon KMS keys. Once a key is generated, the server side encryption will make sure only you can access the object if you own the key which is utilized in encrypting them. And in the last, we discussed about web hosting. Amazon S3 can be utilized to configure the hosting of the static sites. Using its hosting property, you can save a website or any compiled web app built in React or Angular, and with the combination of Amazon CloudFront, they can be used using Amazon S3 only. Now move to the next slide. Now we discuss about the benefits of AWS S3. That is budget friendly, high scalability, durability, and security. Now first we talk about budget friendly. Amazon provides services based on a pay-as-you-go model. This allows us to pay only for the amount of storage and the time that we use on S3. Now we compare this with the example of a hotel room, where the cost depends on the number of room books, similar to the amount of storage, and the time for which one stays, similar to the time for which one uses S3. Now we talk about high scalability. Scalability is the measure to increase or decrease the resources as per need. For example, in the age of social media, application can get viral anytime, leading to an increase in demand for storage. But since we are using Amazon S3, we do not need to worry. S3 allows for implementation within minutes. It all allows for auto scaling as well. Be it an increase or decrease in demand, everything is perfectly managed by S3. Now we talk about durability. Durability is measurement of likelihood of data loss. All the services provided by Amazon, including Amazon S3, are highly durable. The S3 standard tire is designed for 99.999, means 11 nines durability. Now, what does that actually means? It means that if we store 100 billion object in S3, at most we will lose one object. Now we discuss about security. When it comes to storage, the security of our data becomes the first priority. S3 relies us by enabling automatic encryption of data as soon as the data uploading process is finished. We can monitor who is accessing our data and also obtain information such as the location of access time and device accessing the platform. Now, I would like to give a live demonstration of how to configure Amazon S3. So, go to AWS Management Console, then sign in to the console. Then choose S3. Now, firstly, we create a bucket. Every object in S3 is stored in a bucket. To upload files and folders to S3, we will need to create a bucket where the object will be stored. So, create bucket. Then give to the name like and bucket name must be unique within the global namespace. Now, AWS region by default. Bucket versioning. Versioning is the means of keeping multiple variants of an object in the same bucket. You can use versioning to preserve, retrieve, and restore every version of every object stored in Amazon S3 bucket. So we disable bucket versioning, and tags are optional. Tags are used to track storage cost and organize bucket. And default encryption, we use server side encryption with Amazon S3 managed key. So now create bucket. Our bucket is created successfully. So now click on the bucket name we created. Now we have to upload the object. So click on upload. Click on add files and open. So upload. Now our object is uploaded successfully. Then close. Here are the properties and permission and so more. So back to the buckets. Now we have to learn how to delete the bucket we created. So first of all, we go to empty and type permanently delete it. Go to empty. So our bucket is now empty. Exit. Now we delete the bucket. Here we put our bucket name, that is Rinki 21, and then delete bucket. Now our bucket is successfully deleted. Let's go back again to our PPT. Now we learn about the storage classes in Amazon S3. First is Amazon S3 standard for frequent data access. Next is Amazon S3 standard for infrequent data access. Then Amazon Glacier. Then one zone IA storage class. And in the last, Amazon S3 reduced redundancy storage. So first we learn about Amazon S3 standard for frequent data access. It is suitable for a use case where the latency should be low. For example, frequently accessed data will be the data of students' attendance, which should be retrieved quickly. So next is Amazon S3 standard for infrequent data access. It can be used where the data is long-lived and less frequently accessed. Example, students' academic record will not be needed daily, but it have any requirement, their details should be retrieved quickly. Next is Amazon Glacier. It can be used where the data has to be archived and high performance is not required. For example, students' old record, like admission fees will not be needed daily, and even if it is necessary, low latency is not required. Next is one zone IA storage class. It can be used where the data is infrequently accessed and stored in a single region. Example, students' report card is not used daily and stored in a single availability region, that is school. And in the last, Amazon S3 standard reduced redundancy storage. It is suitable for a use case where the data is non-critical and reproduced quickly. For example, books in the library are non-critical data and can be replaced if lost. Now move to the next slide. This is the reference slide. Then move to the conclusion. Amazon S3 is highly efficient and versatile cloud storage solution that offers multiple benefits. Its users, its scalability, reliability, security feature, and integration with other AWS services make it a popular choice for business and individuals who need to store and access large amount of data. Overall, S3 is a valuable tool for anyone looking to leverage the power of cloud storage. So, if anyone have any question, please ask me. Thank you.
Yes. You presented quite well.
Ma'am, your voice is not clear.
Given that leverage. Now it's fine. Am I audible to you?
Hello.
Hello. Am I
Yes,
audible?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I was saying that you presented quite well. One thing, two things that I noticed that when you put this email ID that you have put it on the thank you slide, you should put it on the that Q&A slide. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
And one more thing that first you have ordered the reference slide, then conclusion. First conclusion should be there, then reference, because conclusion told that you are ending your presentation, then the flow should be in the that flow. Then you told that, then you tell that this is the reference. Rest everything was perfect. Your content is also quite well. You delivered. Next we have Rakhi. You can stop your presentation. Rakhi, you can start your presentation.
So, hello everyone. Good evening, everyone. My name is Rakhi. My project name is Cloud Engineering Internship Program, and task allotted to me get started with AWS S3, and I'm from Cloud Computing Group. So, this is the content of my task: introduction of Amazon S3. S3 is a simple key value store. How Amazon S3 works, then concept of Amazon S3, then S3 storage classes, then live demonstration, then features of Amazon S3, then conclusion. So Amazon S3 with more than 32% of the world public cloud share, it is no surprise Amazon Web Service serves serves more than 190 countries with scalable, reliable, and low cost infrastructure. One of its most commonly featured as Amazon S3. So what is Amazon S3? Amazon S3 is used to store object and retrieve object at any time, at anywhere. So this is the introduction of Amazon S3. Amazon S3 is an object storage service that store data as objects within buckets. An object is a file and any metadata that describe the file. A bucket is a container for objects. Then to store data in Amazon S3, you first create a bucket and specify a bucket name, then AWS region. Let's move on next slide. So S3 is a simple key value store. So these are the key points of S3. First is key, second is value, then version ID, then metadata, then sub resources. After that, access control information. So first is key. Key is used to retrieve the object. It is simply the name of the object. For example, hello.txt. Then value. It is simply the data which is made up of sequence of bytes. It is actually a data inside the file. Version ID. Version ID uniquely identify the object. It is string generated by S3 when you add an object to the S3 bucket. For example, you have two buckets stored in S3. First bucket is photo.jpg version 11 and second object is photo.jpg version 12. There are two objects but different version ID. Then metadata. It is the data about data you are storing, a set of name value pair with which you can store the information regarding an object. Metadata can assign to the object in Amazon S3 bucket. Sub-resources. It is used to store object-specified information. Access control information. In access control information, who can access the object and buckets within S3. And in this authentication, verify the identity of the user who can access the AWS. Then move on, next slide, how Amazon S3 works. So Amazon S3 provides features that you can configure to support your specific use case. For example, you can use S3 versioning to keep multiple versions of the object in the same bucket, which allow you to restore objects that are essentially deleted or overwritten. So what is deleted or overwritten? So deleted, if you delete an object instead of deleting the object permanently, create a delete maker which becomes a current version of the object. Then overwritten. Overwritten means if you overwritten an object, it creates a new version of this object of the object and restore the previous version of the object. Then buckets and the objects in them are private and can be accessed only if you explicitly grant access permissions. You can use bucket policy, access control list, and access S3 access points to manage access. Then move on, next slide. Concept of Amazon S3. So these are the concept of Amazon S3: buckets, object, keys, reason, and data consistency model. So first is bucket. Bucket is a container used to store the object, and every object is encrypted in a bucket. For example, if the object name is photo tree.jpg is stored in the tree image with in tree image in a bucket, it can be addressed by following URL http://treeimage.s3 Amazon AWS S3.com. Buckets have no limit to store amount of data. Most important, AWS account that creates a bucket can delete, but no other AWS user can delete a bucket. Then objects. Objects are the identity which are used to store in S3 buckets, and it is uniquely identified within a bucket by a key and a version ID. Then in objects, metadata is a set of name value. In objects, metadata is a set of name value that describe, and it includes date, last, modify, and standard HTTP tools that such as content type. Then keys. Key is a unique identifier of an object. Every object is in a bucket create a one key using one key, and key is a combination of a unique combination of a bucket name and the key and optionally version ID. Then reason. You can choose a geographical region in which you want to create a bucket, and in which you want to store a bucket that you have created. Then you have choose a region in such a way that you optimize the latency, minimize cost, and address regulatory requirements. And most important, objects will not leave the region unless you transfer the object in another region. Then last is data consistency model. So that it contains two points: read after write consistency for puts of new objects, and second is eventually consistency for overwritten puts and deletes objects. So first is read after write consistency for puts not new objects. Then a process store a new object, then in S3 it will be immediately list the key object within the buckets. Then it does not take for propagation, then changes after reflected immediately. Then second point is eventually consistently for overwritten puts and deletes. So if the process delete an exciting object immediately, try to read it and the change it fully propagated. Then S3 might be overwritten the object, deleted object. Then move on next slide. So S3 storage classes. So these are the storage classes. First is S3 standard storage. Second is S3 standard infrequent access. Third is S3 one zone infrequent access. Fourth is S3 glacier storage. Fifth is S3 intelligent tiering storage. Sixth is S3 glacier deep archive. So first we discuss less S3 standard storage. So as standard storage class store the data redundantly across the multiple devices in multiple facilities. It provides low latency and high throughput performance, and it is designed for 99.99% availability and 99.99 means 11's 9 durability. It is designed to sustain the loss of two facility concurrently. Then second is S3 standard infrequent access. It is used when data is accessed less frequently but required rapid access when needed. It also provides a low latency and high throughput performance, and it has a lower fee than S3, but you will charge for a retrieval fee. It is mainly used for larger objects greater than 128 KB for kept at least 30 days. And it is also designed to sustain the loss of two facilities concurrently. Third is S3 one zone infrequent access. It stores the data in a single availability zone, while other storage classes store the data in minimum of 3 availability zones. Due to this reason, its cost is 20% less than standard IA storage classes. It is a cost-effective storage which is replicated from other AWS region using S3 cross-region replication. It has the same durability and high performance and low latency with a low storage price and low retrieval fee. And it is designed for 99.5% availability and 99.99 means 11's 9 durability of object in a single availability zone. Then S3 glacier storage. It is the cheapest storage class, but it can be used to archive only. You can store any amount of data at a lower cost than other storage classes. It provides three types of models. First is expedited, second is standard, and third is bulk. Expedited is used to store data for few minutes, and standard is used for data to store data 3 to 5 hours, and bulk is used to store data 5 to 12 hours. And it is designed for 99.99 means 11's 9 durability of objects across multiple availability zones. S3 intelligent tiering storage. It is designed to optimize storage cost by automatically moving data to most cost-effective access tier when access patterns change. It delivers automatic storage cost saving in low latency and high throughput access tiers. It is designed for durability of 99% availability zones and for 99.9% availability over a given year. Last is S3 Glacier Deep Archive. It is designed to provide durable and secure long-term storage for large amount of data at a price that is competitive with a premises tape archival service. Data is stored across 3 or more AWS availability zones and can retrieve in 12 hours or less. So let's move on next slide. Live demonstration. I would like to give a live demonstration. So first login in Amazon account. So log back in. Then go to services. Then search Amazon S3. So click on S3. So this is the dashboard of Amazon S3. First, we create a bucket. Then click on create bucket. So first is bucket name. Bucket name must be unique with a global namespace and follow the bucket name rules. And bucket should be a 3 to 63 character long. So give a bucket name Rakhi.YouTube1. Then click on create bucket. Successfully created a bucket. Then second is upload object. Then go to view details. Then upload object in a bucket. Add files. Then upload. So object is successful uploaded. Then close. Click on this object. Open this upload object. Then move on bucket. So click this URL. Click on permission. So click on bucket policy. Then edit bucket policy. We have to write a policy. So click on policy generator. So first, policy generator. Policy generator is a tool that enables you to create policy that control access to Amazon Web Service product and resources. So first step is select policy type. Select S3 bucket policy. Then effect is allow. Principal bucket policy is to everyone. Then action. Action is selected get object. Then Amazon resource name. Then go to, then copy bucket ARN. Then paste. Then add statement. Then generate policy. So copy this policy. And paste the policy. So then save changes. So we see we contain an error. So because bucket policy, my bucket is private. So changes first is to allow bucket to everyone, then slash, then star. Then copy this policy. Then go to buckets. go permission and edit bucket public access. Click on block all public access, then save changes. Confirm. Then click on bucket policy, edit. Then paste bucket policy. Then save changes. Successfully edit bucket policy, then go to objects. Then click on this URL. So this is the overview of the buckets. Then copy object URL and open in a new tab. So this is the process how to access the bucket. Then move on bucket. So how to delete a bucket? So first we select a bucket. Then we are not directly delete a bucket. So first empty bucket, permanently delete. Click on. Then empty. Then exit. Then delete bucket. Rakhi.u2.1. Then delete bucket. So this is the process how to configure a bucket and upload an object in a bucket, and how to access the object and how to delete the object. Let's move on our presentation. So features of Amazon S3. So these are the features of Amazon S3. First is durability, second is availability, third is pay as you use, last is server-side encryption. So first is durability. AWS comes Amazon S3 to have a 99.99 means 11's 9 durability. This means the possibility of losing your data stored on S3 is 1 in a billion. Second is availability. AWS ensure that the uptime of AWS S3 is 99.99% for standard access. Availability is written for being able to access data, and durability is related to losing data altogether. Then third is pay as you use. The user are charged according to the S3 storage key hold. Then last is server-side encryption. So these are the 3 points to server-side encryption. First is SSE S3. AWS S3 manages encryption key. Second is the customer manages encryption key, and third is SSE KMS. The AWS Key Management Service manages the encryption key. Let's move on next slide. Conclusion. Amazon S3 is a highly efficient and versatile cloud storage solution that offers multiple benefits to its user. Its scalability, reliability, security features, and integration with other AWS services make it popular choice for business and individuals who need to store and access large amounts of data. While you are looking to backup critical data, host a website, or run big data analytics, and S3 provides a range of options to meet your needs. And additionally, S3 is a cost-effective, making it an accessible solution for this with limited budgets. Overall, S3 tool valuable tool for anyone looking to leverage the power of cloud storage. Then next slide is reference. So this is the reference links. If you have any question, please ask me, and for any query, contact me. And thank you.
Yes, Rakhi. Am I audible to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So though your presentation was good, but there are certain points that I would like you should focus on. The very first thing, try to reduce the content on your slide. Okay.
Okay.
There are like you have your conclusion slide, then you have elaborated the points, so try to reduce the points.
Okay,
And
ma'am.
some places I noticed that you were just reading the slides instead of reading that slides directly. Try to keep shorter points and then explain those points in your own language. Okay. And one more thing is when you are giving demonstration, then try to explain points that why you are actually doing it. So the person who is next to you will relate it directly. Okay, we are doing this thing for this purpose. Like there are many ways I noticed that you could able to explain it that I am using this type of policy because of this. So this will relate to you also, and the person who is listening to you will relate it directly. The whole process. Okay,
Okay.
and rest your scores and your review I will provide you on your mail.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Next we have Rutuja ji.
Yes. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible. We can
Yeah.
start.
Actually, my presentation is regarding Node.js. It's like all before presentations were on cloud. It's okay if I present, right?
Means your presentation is of
Node.js, a Node.js project.
okay, okay, no problem. You can start.
Yeah. Yeah, is the slide visible?
Yes, it's visible. You can start.
Yeah. So, good evening. My name is Rutuja, and I'm interning as a Node.js web developer. And I'll be presenting on a project that I have implemented using Node.js, and it covers the basic functionality of reading content of a file using asynchronous I/O functionalities present in Node.js. So before dwelling into the code, what the project is all about, let's understand what we mean by asynchronous and what we mean by Node.js. Like to put Node.js in layman terms, I can say that it is a platform where you can execute the JavaScript code outside the browser. So the when while defining Node.js, what we can basically say, it is an event-driven architecture. It is a non-blocking architecture. We will understand more deeply these terms, event-driven and non-blocking architectures, further in the presentation. But like to put in layman terms, what I can say about asynchronous and synchronous tasks is that, for example, I'm saying that I'm going to cook, and you need to bring some vegetables from the market. So if the tasks are considered as synchronous, I'll say that I'll wait until you bring the vegetables, and I can't do anything till now. I'm sitting idle, and then when you bring the vegetables, then I will, no, when then we will cook. But if I'm saying that the tasks should be asynchronous, then I'll say that we have to cook, you bring the vegetables, and till then I can do something else. Till then I'll set the table or something else. So what I'm basically trying to say is that in synchronous, till the other task is not completed, the first task has to wait. And in asynchronous, both tasks can work synchronously, simultaneously with each other. So like the for highlighting the important points about what asynchronous IO means basically input and output. So the major points of asynchronous nature of Node.js is effective resource utilization. So as I said that, I will not sit idle, I will do something, so that I'm utilizing all the resources that I have up to its maximum limit. I'm not wasting the time till other task is completed. Then another is responsive applications. That is whenever we use the application, we often encounter the lag. in loading or while playing video or something. So the how Node.js helps in this is that till one task is happening, it will do some other task. So you don't have to wait certainly for that specific thing. So this is how it develops the responsiveness in the applications. Scalability. So multiple tasks can work concurrently with each other, and thus increasing the efficiency of the system and hence increasing the scalability. Like a large number of tasks can be executed at same time. And IO bound operations. So basically, while executing IO operations in Node.js, asynchronous IO is the must. You can't. There are no like IO operations can't be executed without asynchronous nature. So and then real time application, as I said, that user don't have to wait for some task to happen. It happens simultaneously, so that there is less lag when there is less latency. And then there is microservices and API. So it basically asynchronous nature helps two APIs, two functionalities to communicate with each other. And with the help of its nature, it helps to develop the efficiency of the microservices that are designed. And concurrent events and event loop. So as I said, the task can be happening concurrently, simultaneously. And event loop here, it means that whenever the application is running, whenever a code is running, there is a call stack. So when the code is parsed, one function, second function, third function, then they are put in a stack. Stack is like a plate of books are arranged one upon another. The first book goes down, then next. And this way there is a callback stack, and there is a event loop, event queue. So whenever you are working with asynchronous tasks, those are stored differently in event queues. And whenever there is place in call stack, so whenever there is time, so even then asynchronous functions do not disturb the existing call stack. It says that whenever there is a time when there is space, you just execute the code. So that is how basically event loops and event queues works in connection to asynchronous IO. Then let's see the project setup. So first of all, you will have to download Node.js for Node.js environment for your PC, and you can download it through the website of nodejs.org. And for better performance, you can use the long-term support. And then for your local system, you have to create a new folder which includes two files, which is one is example.txt and another is app.js, which basically contains all the main functionality of your code. And example.txt contains some read asynchronously. So this is, you can use any kind of text editor you want to. I'm using VS Code. So this is how it will look. And then let's turn into code implementation. So here you can see we have created different functions so as to to read data from a file which is locally situated on your laptop, and you have to read the contents of it. So this can't be done this is majorly done because it is input output related. So as I mentioned earlier, it has to be asynchronous. So we will use these functions in order to do our task. So let me break this down one to one for you. So first of all is fs module. As you are saying, the first line of code is const fs equals to require fs. So what this basically does, it imports the fs module into your script. So with the help of this, you can use the built-in functions of fs module into your code, such as reading, writing, updating, and deleting. And so that's all. Like, it is just import statement to import the module in your code. Then we have to create a function to read the file contents. So we have created a function read file async, and this name can be anything, but for more readability, we'll make it read file async, and it has a parameter which is file path. This file path is basically where the example.txt file that I mentioned before, it is situated on your PC. So what this function basically does is it returns a promise. Now, what is a promise? Promise, you can consider it as a variable which stores a future value. Like currently it does not have any value, or you can consider it as a utensil. It currently does not have anything, but in future it is going to have some value inside it. So this is a promise, and it returns a promise, and a promise has basically two callbacks, that is of resolve and reject. So resolve, it is triggered when when the function is executed without any error, and reject is executed when there is an error. So fs.read file here, it is the inbuilt function of fs module. It takes three parameters, that is the file path, where is file your file is located on the PC, and it takes then it is utf-8, which is encoding, and it takes another callback, which is error and data, callback containing two arguments, error and data. So sorry, I didn't what are callbacks? Callback is a function that is passed as a parameter to another function. So you see fs.read file here is it is a function, and we are passing a different function. This is an arrow function in JavaScript. So we are passing this function as a parameter to this function. So it is a callback. And here, so we are saying that if there is an error, just reject it. And if there is not error, then resolve the data. Then just give me the data, return the data. So this will basically return me this data. And so the motive behind why error is mentioned before data is that we have to, when we are dealing with asynchronous operations, we have to be careful, because if there is a single data, all the connected functions might go wrong. So you have to be careful that you should not let any error left unhandled in your code. Then comes performing asynchronous task. So so what is the use of this task basically? So what is use of this function? So what it basically does is, we are reading the contents of the file using this function, but we don't know how much time it will take. It can take 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, we don't know. So what this function will do, it will wait for that task to perform. It will wait for all the contents to be read, and then we are using set timeout, which is default JavaScript function. And set timeout, we are setting a limit. So like this is in milliseconds. So like after 2 seconds, if the promise is resolved, if the data is returned, then we will say that asynchronous task completed. And if it is not, then it will it will be handled in this error here. So so yeah, this is basically simulating a asynchronous task. So next is async await. Okay, so what async await is, it is a more readable way of writing promises. So okay, we'll see that in detail in upcoming slides. So what basically here function main does, main is the most important function, like in any language you take. So this is how it is in JavaScript. We are using it async, because async await, it is again a type of promise that you don't know what is it value, what it holds right now. So here we are doing a const file content is equal to await read file async. So the first content we have, which we first function which we created for reading the content of the text file. So here we are we are doing await. So as I said, it was a promise, so it will return the promise. So we have to wait for it to return the promise, and when it returns, it will be stored in this variable, and then we will log the variable into the terminal. And here we are waiting for asynchronous task to complete. So here is where we call the perform async function, where we use a set time of method. So that is if this all goes right, then we will then we will log this, that asynchronous task is completed. So, and again, this is put under try and catch block, that is to handle the error. If there is any error, if it goes wrong anywhere here, then we will log the error and we'll see where it has gone wrong. So so yeah, that was the code. And now it can be really tricky. So what is like what are the points that we covered in the code? So what asynchronous IO basically depicts is that it is a fundamental characteristic of Node.js. It is the reason why it has event-driven architecture, which I mentioned before. Like, it is event loop, and they are pushed into call stack, and then they are executed. So why it is event-driven? The main reason behind it is that because of its asynchronous nature, and it is implemented using callback functions, promises, and async await. So I have used these terms more commonly during the presentation: callbacks, promises, and async await. So to put it in simple terms, I'll say callbacks and promises and async await all are same thing, but just a better versions of themselves. So callback, what is a callback? I mentioned earlier that callback is a function that is passed as an argument to another function. So you know uh, callbacks, that is a basic building block of an asynchronous operations. So a callback, when there is one callback, that's okay, but when there are multiple callbacks, it creates a sort of callback hell. It is a term, callback hell, that multiple callbacks are embedded in each other, and a user, a coder can go wrong while performing those callbacks. So for that sake, we have promises. Promises is more structured way to handle the callbacks. It allows chaining, which is more readable and which is more maintainable for the coder. And of course, it provides us with dot catch and all other embedded methods to for more better error handling. And then async await. Async await is more improvised version of promises. So async await, people say that it is a syntactic sugar for promises. It is more easily readable for us. It is more easily maintainable, and what it basically returns is a promise. And await, what it basically does is pause the execution until promise is resolved. So as we saw here, this is a async function. So whenever JavaScript encounters async keyword, it means that there is going to be a await keyword inside the code, that it will have to wait somewhere. It will have to wait for some data to come. Without async, await won't work. That it will just throw an error. They won't know what await means. So mentioning async in a function is very important for await to work. And so it is basically just a better representation of promises. So when we have written all the code, we just open the terminal and we write node and app.js, which contains the main functionality of our code, and we hit run. And here is the output. You can see reading file, as we console log reading file. Then the file contain, that is hello, this is example.txt file, that the content that was in that file. And here waiting for asynchronous task to complete. And here the last that we have logged, using this perform async task, which we have simulated to perform, simulated as the asynchronous task. So this is how you run a project using Node in your local systems. That is because of Node.js. And so for concluding, I'd say that Node.js is, it is important in this time. Like most of the applications that you see out there are Node.js driven, and the most fundamental pillar of Node.js is asynchronous. Because it is asynchronous, it opens a wide share of possibilities, wide share of development, and numerous ways to efficiently manage the operations and functionalities. So with the help of Node.js, developers can harness its event-driven architecture and optimize resource utilization, and it can be a valuable asset for an developer to create robust applications. So that was all from my side. If there are any questions, please let me know. And thank you.
Yes, Rutuja, you presented it quite well, and try to add the reference slide as well. Okay.
There is actually. I'm sorry, I didn't.
Okay, no problem. Rest your flow was good, which seems that you have good understanding of the concepts.
Okay.
So I will provide you this course and review on your mail.
Sure. Thank you.
Next, we have Khateja. You can start your presentation.
Yes, I'm there. Just a minute. So Khateja Sayyed this side. Good evening, everybody. And for today, I'll be presenting Introduction to Technical Analysis. So before getting started with the actual concept of today's topic, let's have a quick drive to the past. In the heart of ancient India, there were wise rishi munis roamed the land with a distinctive style. They had a bun atop their heads and a long beard. Fast forward to today, and you will notice something similar. Yes, in the bustling streets of our modern world, the man bun and the long beard are making a spirited comeback. It's almost as if history is weaving its threads again, connecting the past to the present. Now let's shift our gaze from fashion to finance. Just as history repeats itself in styles and trends, a similar principle is applied and for this fascinating concept that is technical analysis. Technical analysis is very similar to studying a map of a city you are just about to explore. Just as those old rishi munis of old times left behind clues of their wisdom in their distinct appearance, the stock market leaves behind clues in its price movement. These price movements captured on charts hold the secrets of past trends and patterns. It's like recognizing the landmarks on that map of the city. Imagine if a particular street corner always saw a rush hour traffic jam in the past. You might anticipate a similar situation in the future, right? So, in the same way, technical analysis study this price patterns to predict potential future movements. They identify trends, pinpoint support and resistance levels, and use various indicators, much like deciphering landmarks and paths on a map. This skillful analysis helps traders and investors navigate the complex world of finance with great clarity and confidence. So, whether it is the return of the man bun or the familiar ebb and flows of stock price, history's echo can guide our choices. Just as those ancient rishi munis left their mark on present, so does history's reputation influence the unfolding tapestry of the stock market. So before starting to with the presentation, let's have a quick overview about the presentation. First, we'll have a short introduction about the stock market. So in order to study about technical analysis, we need to know where it is coming from, what is its origin. Then next, we will get started with the project introduction. Further, we'll discuss why technical analysis is an important concept. So nowadays, many traders are opting for technical analysis, and we will see here why is that so. Further, we discuss fundamental concepts that include trends, support and resistance, and some of the indicators and some chart patterns. Next will be the benefits of technical analysis, which are the importance of technical analysis in terms of risk management. At the end, I'll conclude the session, this presentation with a Q&A session. So talking about stock market, you can think stock market as a place where you can buy and sell prices of companies. Imagine you are a part owner of a lemonade stand where you are with your friends. Sometimes you might want to sell your share to someone else who wants to become a co-owner. Or you might want to buy more shares if you think the lemonade stand will do well. In the stock market, instead of lemonade stand, there are big companies like Google and Apple. When you buy a share of a company stock, you are actually buying a tiny piece of that company. And just like with the lemonade stand, you can sell your shares to other people if you want. The prices of these shares can go up or down based on how well the companies are doing and what people think they'll do in the future. So the stock market is a place where people trade these shares, trying to make money by buying when prices are low and selling when prices are high. So these people who trade are called as traders. These shares of the company are the traders. Basically, there are three types of traders. First is the intraday trader. These traders are also known as day trader, and these are the individuals who buy and sell stocks within the same trading. They aim to capitalize on short-term price movements and often make multiple trades throughout the day. Next is the short-term trader. The short-term trader hold position for a slightly longer period of time that can be from days to few weeks, and they analyze both technical and fundamental factors to make trading decisions. The third one is the long-term trader, also known as investors, and they have a broader perspective. They buy stocks with the intention of holding them for an extended period. Typically, it can be from several months to years. Getting to technical analysis. So we can define technical analysis as a method used to study and predict stock prices and market trends. So instead of focusing on a company's finance, how good the company is doing, whether it has many more money or not. So the technical analysis looks at charts and patterns to understand how these stocks price have behaved in the past. Now is the relevance of technical analysis. So why we need technical analysis in today's stock market? It helps in identifying trends. Identifying trends is whether they are going up or down. So going up is the bullish and going down is the bearish. We'll see further. And second one is they help in determining support and resistance levels. These levels determine the entry and exit points. Support and resistance are the entry and exit points. Next is the chart patterns. They study chart patterns and provide clues and continuations in the stock price movements. The indicators are basically tools and they help studying the pattern and offer the momentum overbought or oversold conditions and potential trend charges. Now getting to trends, stock market trends. Trends is the most important and key concept of technical analysis. Defining trend easily can be said as a direction. So trend is a simple direction in what trend a share is going, the stock is going, in which trend, in which direction. We can explain this using the example of the weather, how these weather are sometimes cloudy, sometimes sunny. Similarly, trends are sometimes up, sometimes down, and also sometimes sideways. So getting further to this, there are three types of trends. First one is an uptrend, that is also known as bullish trend. Second one is a downtrend, the bearish trend, and the third one is the sideways. Let's see them in detail. So the uptrend, first one is the uptrend, when the overall movement of the stock is going upward. The uptrend, its name itself says that the trend is going in the upward direction. So that is where the uptrend starts. It is also known as the bullish trend. And these are your terms that says higher highs and higher lows. Let me explain you all that. So let's see that this is a graph that is going in an upward direction. This is an uptrend. Higher highs are the peak points of the stock chart. So these will be considered as higher highs. We can mark them just like this. And the higher lows, the landing point. So this can be the landing point of the chart pattern. These are higher highs and higher lows though. Next, getting to downward trend. So this trend is also known as bearish trend, and similarly, this opposite to uptrend, this trend goes downwards. The name itself describes it. Explaining lower highs and lower lows, let's say that our stock is going in a downward direction, and here will be the lower highs. The peak points of the downward trend will be the lower highs, and these points will be the lower lows. That was about the downtrend, that is the bearish trend. Next is the sideways trend, also known as consolidation. Here the price chart does not go up nor or downwards. So it stays in a parallel line. Let's say that this is the line, and the stock is going in such pattern. So this will be considered as a sideways trend. There are no higher lows or highs and lows here for this trend. To explain this in more simple and basic language, we'll take an example of a train journey. Let's say that someone wants to go from Pune to Delhi, and if a passenger is getting on the train from somewhere in the middle, so this is Delhi here, and let's say if someone wants to get on train from at this point, so eventually they'll land to Delhi. Similarly, if they want to go to Calcutta, so they will land, and if someone gets on the train at somewhere between, they'll land to Calcutta eventually. That is what trend is. If you get on the train, if you get on that trend, the upward trend, it is going in the upward direction, and you get on that trend, which means that you buy or you sell a stock in that trend, so you will eventually land with a profit or a loss for an downtrend. Next are the support and resistance concept, also most important concept for this technical analysis. So I'll explain it in a much easier way. Support and resistance. So let's say that I have a pen in my hand, and what will happen if I throw this pen in the upwards direction? It will hit a ceiling, resist at a point, and it will get back to the land. So the floor. So the ceiling will be the resistance, and the floor will be the support. That is what support and resistance. It is as simple as that. So we'll consider this pen as a stock. Hitting it on the ceiling is it's going up in the upward direction and upward trend, and getting down to the floor is the downward trend. So that is what support and resistance is. Now you must be thinking that these are some levels. Support and resistance are some levels. Where no, these are not levels. We'll make a chart here. So we'll say that this is a resistance. We'll take it as R1. At some point, the stock which is going in an uptrend will break that resistance, and it will go much further. It won't go in a parallel direction forever. So at the point where it breaks that resistance level and reaches another resistance level will be RR2. So the resistance, I'm trying to say that the resistance and support are zones. They are not considered as levels. Yes, at a point, we can say that it is hitting for R1, that is resistance. Similar theory is for support. When the trend is going in the downward direction, and this is the support. So S1. But some point it will break that support and go much down, or the company might be facing loss. So it will get much down, and this point will be considered as S2. So this is another support level, and both of these will be the support zone. That is what support and resistance concept in technical analysis is. Now getting to indicators. Indicators are simply tools to identify further patterns. So in this context, that is the financial market, technical analysis involves studying historical price and volume data to forecast future price movements. Indicators are mathematical calculations based on this data that provide additional insight into market trends, momentum, volatility, and other aspects of price behavior. The predictions we are getting from these indicators, the market trends and the chart patterns, we calculated using the indicator to get further assumptions. So indicators are applied to price charts to help traders and investors interpret market information more effectively. They are generally generate graphical representation such as lines, histograms, or oscillators, which help visualize and analyze market data. They act as a tool for technical analysis. So there are three types of indicators. First one is the trend following indicator. This indicator helps identifying the direction and strength of a market indicator. Second one is the momentum indicator. It gauges the speed and the magnitude of the price. Third one is the volatility indicator. This indicator measures the degree of price fluctuations in the market. Fourth one is the volume indicator. It analyzes the trading volume associated with the price movements. So these are the list of the indicators we have further to be seen. Getting started with the moving average. Moving average indicator, okay, let's consider that you are looking at a stream and you want to know how smooth or rough the water is over time. You can do this by taking the average of the water's height at different moments. In stock market, the moving average indicator does something similar. It smooths out the ups and downs of a stock's price over a specific period, like days or weeks. It gives you a clearer picture of all direction the particular stock is moving. So how does it work? First one is to pick the number of days. Let's say 10 days, for example, and we'll consider it as a period. You add up the stock's closing prices for last 10 days. Then dividing that sum by 10 to get the average. Now you have a moving average line on your chart. This line will help you to see the general trend of the stock's price over those 10 days, for the last 10 days. It's like looking at the stream average water level over a certain time. So as you can see on this chart, there is this blue line that is the moving average indicator. Is it visible? Yes, so this the blue line is the moving average indicator for this particular chart, and for timeline we have it in months. When the stock's actually price goes above the moving average, it could mean that the stock is gaining strength, and when it goes below, it might be losing some momentum. So the moving average helps you see the flow of the stock's price, just like you'd see the flow of the water in the stream. Now let's see it on the chart. So this is the average indicator, and the stock is going in an more up above the moving average indicator. So this stock is gaining strength at from November to December. That is what moving average helps us determine. And for the year is the stock is getting more below than the moving average indicator. This means that it is losing some momentum of the stock. Now getting the formula for calculating moving average indicator is similar to calculating an average. Next are the support and resistance indicator. So we have seen what are support and resistance, the concept for it. It is the ceiling and the floor. Now getting further, what are the indicators support and resistance are. So we'll take a similar example to this chart. The timeline says it has 5 months, and you can see the chart is going in a sideways trend, and the support zone. This is the support level. Let's consider it as S1. So the stock is having a hard time to break that support level and get down. This will help traders to make decision when the stock is somewhere near the support level. When it is the next time it gets to near to that support level, the sellers and the buyers will start trading, and it will again get up. So that is what support and support indicator is. Now the resistance indicator. For the resistance indicator, it is opposite to support resistance, and it moves because there is more demand than supply. Just like here we have a support. Okay, this is the resistance level, and here is the chart. First it is going in a parallel direction, then all of a sudden it faces a downward direction. It is having a hard time to break that resistance level. Next time when it gets somewhere close to that resistance level, the traders will start trading, and it will again get down. So this is what the resistance level help identify. Identifying these levels is like knowing where the ball will bounce next. Traders use support and resistance indicators to help predict where prices might change direction, helping them make informed decisions about buying or selling a particular stock. Just a minute. Next is the trend line indicator. The trend line indicator is the stock market is like drawing a straight line on a map to show the path you are taking. So in stocks, it's a line drawn on price chart to connect the lows or highs of a trend. For an uptrend, it's like marking a line under the rising prices to see the direction they are heading. And for a downtrend, it's drawn above the falling prices. So what I need, I'll show you the chart signifies that it is an uptrend, and the indicator is drawn below the candlesticks. Here is the chart for a downtrend, and for this chart, for this trend, the indicator will be drawn above the falling prices. So these trend lines act as guides, showing if the trend is strong or if there might be a change in the direction. They help traders see the path of the stock's movement and make decisions about when to buy or sell based on how the stock behaves around the trend line. Just like following a path on a map, trend lines help investors stay on track in the stock market. The RSI indicator. So the RSI full form for RSI is the relative strength index, and in the stock market we can see that it is a fitness tracker for stocks. Just as fitness tracker measures how active you are, RSI measures how active a stock's price is. So considering a number from 0 to 100, when it is high, this indicator is drawn below the chart. Below the chart, and in the range from 0 to 100. Also from 100, it is marked at 30 and 70 points. So when it is high, that is, it is going from above 70, it's like the stock has been running too fast and might need to slow down. And when it goes below 30, it's like the stock has been resting a lot and might be ready to rise. So RSI helps traders figure out if a stock is overbought, which means that whether it is too popular, or oversold, which means that not popular enough, and it guides them in making decisions about buying or selling stocks based on this information. Just like tracking your activity helps you make healthier choices, RSI helps traders make smarter choices in the stock market. Next is the moving average convergence divergence, that is the MACD indicator. So this indicator is like a pair of binoculars that helps you spot far off changes, just as binoculars bring distant objects closer. MACD indicators bring hidden changes in stock prices into focus. So MACD looks at difference between two moving averages, which are like smoothed out price lines. When the short-term moving average crosses above the long-term one, it's like a signal that stock's momentum might be picking up. And when it crosses below, it's a hint that momentum might be slowing down. The formula to calculate MACD is as shown. It also has a signal line, which is like a trend arrow. When the MACD crosses above the signal line, it's like an upward arrow indicating potential to go higher. When it crosses below, it's like a downward arrow suggesting a possible move downward. So just as binoculars help you see things you wouldn't notice with your naked eye, MACD helps traders spot changes in momentum that might not be immediately obvious, and it guides them in making decisions about buying or selling stocks based on these momentum shifts. Just like it enhances your vision, MACD enhances traders' understanding of the stock market. Next, we are starting with the candlestick indicators. Candlestick indicators in stock market are like a visual storyteller that paints a picture of price movement. Just as a picture is worth 1,000 words, candlestick charts use candle shapes to convey valuable information about a stock's behavior. How can we study a candle's body? So the rectangular shape is the candle's body, and the stick you are seeing coming out of the body is the vector, very similar to the English vocabulary. Similar to the green one, this is the rectangular shape is the body, and the green are the vector. So the bearish candle and the bullish candle. Green one is the bullish, red one is the bearish. So the only one difference you might be seeing here is the open price and the close price. For bearish candle, open price is on before the body of the candle. That is because bearish means going down, downward trend, getting from up to downward. So the opening price is at first and then closing price because it is going from up to down. Opposite to bearish candle, bullish candle has close price on top, which means that it is getting down. Bullish candles is an uptrend, which means going down, going up from down. So closing price will come after before the opening price. These are the tools that packs data for multiple time frames, and they are more useful than the traditional bars. OHLS is the open, high, low, close bars. And they are based on current and past price movements. They do not future indicators. Now starting with some famous patterns, candlestick patterns. First one is the hammer candlestick pattern. In stocks, it looks like a real hammer with a long body and with a short body and a long handle. That the handle will be set as a lower shadow. So when does this appear? It appears after a downtrend. The long shadow below the body indicates that sellers push the price down, but then buyers stepped in, pushing it back up. It's like the hammer hitting the price down, but then bouncing back. This pattern suggests the potential reversal from a downtrend to an uptrend. Doji and spinning top pattern. So it's like spinning top that wobbles and doesn't move much. The doji and spinning top candlestick patterns are similar. They have small bodies indicating indecision between buyers and sellers. They suggest that neither side had a clear upper hand during that period. It's like a tug of war whether neither of teams win. These patterns can signal a potential change in direction as a market hesitates between moving up or down. The bullish and bearish engulfing lines. So, okay, think of a wave, a bigger wave engulfing a smaller wave in the ocean. So, similar to that, the engulfing pattern, the bigger candle wrapping around a smaller one, like a bigger candle wave engulfing to a smaller one. The green candles engulf the red one. This is for the bullish candle and suggesting potential bullish momentum. It's like a positive surge overpowering a negative one. In the bearish engulfing pattern, it's the opposite. A small green candle is followed by a larger red one, indicating potential bearish momentum. It's like a negative wave taking over a positive. So for time for a quick demonstration. Okay, here we are on the Upstocks. This is the website for trading, and right, you can just yes. So you can open any stocks following using this drop down list. Right now, I am on Indian Railway FinCorp. Okay. Yes, so this is the chart for it. This is the icon from using. You can draw various indicators. Next, the timeline, you can change it from this drop down, whether using 15 minutes, or you can also change it for 2 hours, anything you are okay with. The chart styles, whether you want a candlestick or a bar, a line, vertex line, it has a wide variety for it. For now, we'll go with line, and I'll explain you how to read it. For many day traders, they opt for 15 minutes because they are trading within the day and they do not take their trade overnight. So now this green label indicates where right now the stock is. Okay, now we'll change it to the candle and we'll spot some patterns. Using the scroll bar or scroll on your mouse, you can zoom in and out. So this is the doji pattern we saw right now in the slide. This is the, we could say it as, okay, we'll search for a hammer. Here also is the doji pattern. A doji pattern is just like a cross, a simple line. This is the, So this is the spinning top pattern. For a hammer, it is just a body and a long tail. So we could say it's hard to find here. Okay, we could say that this one is hammer. Here, a body and a long shadow. So that was you can change it for color, also colored bars, vertex line, also for shallow mountains. This is how the chart will look. Now let's draw some indicators for it. Okay, this is the line one. We can easily draw a line. Whatever you want. This is how you can use those. The regression line, just like this. You can see we have drawn a red line over here. Let me just close this line, then the regression line. So this is how the indicators are used. Okay, now getting back to the presentation. Now we are for importance about technical analysis in terms of risk management and decision making. First one is identifying trends and a reversal. So technical analysis help identifying trends in stock prices, whether they are uptrend, downtrend, or sideways trend. By recognizing the prevailing trend, investors can align their trading and investment strategies accordingly, reducing the risk of being on the wrong side of the market. Second is the short-term trade. So technical analysis is a particular beneficial for short-term traders who aim to profit from price movements within a brief time frame. The third one is a confirmation of fundamental analysis. For investors who consider both technical and fundamental analysis, technical analysis can serve as a valuable tool to confirm or validate their fundamental investment thesis. For fourth one is the timing, entry, and exit points that are the support and resistance points. So technical analysis provides valuable insights into potential entry and exit points for traders. So in conclusion, we have explored the fundamental of technical analysis and its invaluable role in stock market analysis. Let's go through key points real quick. First one was the trends, and there are three types of trends: uptrend, downtrend, and sideways trend. Next one was the support and resistance concept with the example of ceiling and floor. Fourth, next was the indicators. We saw the types of indicators and some chart patterns. And the last was the importance of technical analysis in stock market. So overall, technical analysis equips us with powerful tools to decipher the complexities of the stock market by recognizing trends, understanding support and resistance, and employing various indicators. We gain a competitive edge in risk management and decision making. Embracing the essence of technical analysis empowers us to make informed and calculated choice, ultimately contributing to more successful investment endeavors. Some are the reference links. First one, first one is the videos. The 4 videos that were helpful from CA Ranchana. Next are the articles from Investopedia. I got the content from there. Then are the images. So I used some AI and Vector-C website to get the images, high quality images. Next are for Chat GPT, I used to create the content. The Bard AI. Also, following is my GitHub link. Next is the Trello.com. That was the link was provided along with the task. Thank you for joining me on this technical analysis, and I welcome any questions or further discussions. on this vital aspect of stock market analysis. Thank you. You can also contact me using that email ID. That's all from my side.
Yes, Khateja, you delivered it quite nicely, and the example that you are using in between of explaining the each point was a very good approach. Keep the same pace
Thanks.
in the future projects.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, I will provide you this course and review on your mail.
Yes, ma'am.
Next, we have Pratik.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you can start your presentation.
Okay. I am audible, ma'am,
Yes, you are right.
as well as visible.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Just a minute, ma'am.
Yes.
My screen is visible.
Yes, it's still sharing.
It's shared.
No, yet not. I can see a black screen.
Okay. Ma'am, check it now.
No, still I can see black screen. Still it's not visible your presentation.
Oh.
Presentation is not visible.
Wait, ma'am.
Okay, okay.
There is some problem.
Okay,
Sorry.
no problem. You can see the issue.
Ma'am, please check.
No, still not.
Check.
No, I can see black screen. That you are, it's showing the message that your screen is sharing, but I cannot see the presentation.
Okay. Can you continue with another intern? Then I can.
I think we are not left with any more intern. If you want, you can see the issue right now if it is possible to solve. Otherwise, you can give tomorrow if it is possible for you.
Just a minute. Can I left and join again?
Yeah, sure. I'm there.
Just a minute.
Okay.
Hello.
It's pretty. Yes, now it's visible. It's green issue.
Visible?
Yes.
Okay. My presentation is visible, ma'am.
Yes, it's visible.
Can I start?
Yes, you can start your presentation.
First of all, sorry, ma'am, for inconvenience.
No problem. You can start.
Good evening, one and all. My name is Pratik Manoj Raut, and I am from DY Patil College of Engineering and Technology, from BTech with a CSC with a specialization of AI/ML. And I got a allotted topic of exploratory data analysis. And I am the intern of the Hack Veda of machine learning and deep learning. Here is the content of my PPT is first of all I introduce the I allotted task and the dataset, and then dataset overview, and then the flows goes like the outliers and anomalies and data visualization. Then after descriptive statistics, then demonstration of my work, then conclusion. And then Q&A session, and then greeting. First of all, let know about the what is EDA. What is EDA? ED is basically a process of visualizing statistically and exploring the data set that uncover the main characteristics, pattern, outliers and anomalies. It is the initial steps of a data analysis process. Involves the quantitative and summarization, visual quantitative and summarization. It involves like the visualization and summary statistics to gain insight from the data, from the large amount of data. What we discovered from the EDA. First of all, we discovered from the EDA the pattern, relationship between the data sets, anomalies, detect anomalies, hidden inside, etc. And then I allotted a data set from the Kaggle. First of all, we want to know that what is actually a data set. Data set is nothing but the collection of information, and the large amount of a collection of a data is called the data set. We got the data set of a credit card fraud detection from the Kaggle, and we need to perform the exploratory data analysis on that data set. Here is the data overview. Overview. We got a Kaggle dataset which contain the 2,84,807 rows and 31 columns, in which the credit card transaction over days September 2013. And in that data set, we got the 492 fraud out of the 2,84,807 transaction, and remaining all are the fraudable transaction. And we got features from that data set at V1, V2 up to V28, and the another principal component are time and amount. And feature class are responsible for making the decision whether the data contain fraudable transaction or non-fraudable transaction. The response variable, fraud variable, if the class contain the one value, then it is a fraudable transaction, and if the data contains zero value in the class, then it is a non-fraudable transaction. I can also want to show the my data set I got. Here is, ma'am, visible?
Yes, it's visible.
It is a data set I got from the Kaggle for exploratory data analysis of a credit card. Here we have the V1, V2, V3 as the features, and the amount and class. The class describe the binomial values 1 and 0. If the value is 1, then it is a fraudable, and 0 is a non-fraudable transaction. Here is the overview of my data set. Then continue with my PPT. Then next slide, what is first, we need to understand what is outlier and anomalies. uh, both are the factors are nearly the same, but a slightly difference between these two concepts. Outliers are the data that significantly different from the majority of data, means low and high values between the normal data set. And the anomalies and the anomalies are the behavior that the data point do not concern and to be accepted pattern for a behavior in a given data set. Here we can see the outliers are the point that deviates from the reset, high and low compared to the majority of data. And however, the anomalies obtained have a stronger convention and indicating the potential problem of an unexpected event. Then we have a descriptive analysis. We got in a we use in a task. Descriptive analysis. Descriptive analysis is the branch that focuses on the summarizing of a data and meaning and getting the meaningful, concise and the in a concise manner. Why we use the objective of the descriptive analysis is to describe the main features of the data set, provide the main features of the data set. Why it is important? Because it use the factors like central tendency, mean variations, and the data distribution of a data in a concise manner. The tools we are used in the descriptive analysis is mean, median, and mode, and the measure of a variability of a range, variance, and standard deviation. And another one is data distribution, like histogram, box plot, scatter plot, and many more. Uh, then we have another data visualization. What is data visualization? Data visualization is the process of graphically representation of a data using the visual element like charts, graph, maps, etc. For conveys the complexity and easier to understand our data by the visual format. Enhance understanding. Transformative, it transfer the raw data into a visual format. Then the facilitate interpretation, and then it provides the support decision capabilities like zero. I said earlier, 0 and 1. 1 is a fraudable amount, and 0 is the non-fraudable amount. There are different types of the visualization charts. There are bar chart, line charts, scatter charts, and many more other than the shows in the PPTs, like scatter plot, a pie chart, etc. Let understand why we use data visualization. Data visualization we use. Suppose I explain with the example. Suppose I am a market analysis, and I need to analyze the my sales of a product, of any product. So we don't need to understand better with the raw data as compared to the visual, whether the my business is in profit or not in profit. That is where the data visualization came into the picture. Then I demonstrate the my code. This is my code. Here I have imported all libraries needed for the performing the task, sleep, etc. Then I read the CSV file of my credit card as I show. Then it's a data.head. It shows the head of the data of overview of the data, gives the and the class 0 1 as it. And I told you the 800 2,84,800 and button column. Here is info of my data, and from here we start the exploring the data analysis. Data dot is null, any values. If there is any value null in the data set, then it shows the true. but there is no any null values in our data set. That's why it shows the false. And here the one of the concept of my PPT visualization concept, I visualize the graph to for the better understanding. This is a box plot where the transaction class distribution, frequency of a class per unit the time. Here we can see that one is the larger one is the normal transaction, and the smaller line is a fraudable, which is very lower, and it occurs 0.17. 0. I show you. Very small, 0.17231 of a fraudable amount. Then get the normal data set. Here is the fraudable data set from our data set, that is 492 rows, and class we see is the 111, and then normal data set dot class is equal to 0. 2,84,305 rows and 31 columns, and class shows the 00 column. And we need to analyze the amount of information from the transaction data set. The fraud then describe the descriptive analysis came into picture. Count, mean, standard variation, mean 25%, 50%, 75%, and max percent. Total count is 492, and mean transaction amount of 122. Standard is 256, mean is 0, and 25% of a fraudable data is 1%, and 50% is 9, and 75% is 105 transaction. Max is 2,125, and the normal is like that also. Count is 2,84,315. Mean, standard mean 25%, 50%, and 75%. And then we need to analyze the data, visualize the data with the histogram. Here is the fraudable amount of a transaction per unit, the per unit, that amount and transaction. Here is a normal transaction. As compared to the fraudable transaction, there is very small amount. And then we got the fraudulent transaction occur during a certain time. Here is a time convention of a fraud and normal data. Here is a amount 0, 500, 1000, 1500, and 2000. Here is the time occur, and the amount 500 amount of a time in a fraud and normal data. Take some sample data to and explore the data. There are 31 columns and 2,84,081 rows. Determine the number of a fraudable and transaction in a data set. That one is a normal transaction, and that is a valid transaction. And then we find the outlier fraction, that is 0.0172, and that is the fraudable class 49 and valid class. And then correlation between the fraudable and non-fraudable amount. We can visualize the fraudable and correlation between the data set with the help of the heat map. Here is the visual of a heat map between the fraudable and non-fraudable amount. Then create a dependent and independent features in the data set. That is here is the output of the dependent and non-dependent data set. Then we have a 3 machine learning algorithm, that is isolation forest, a local outlier factor, and the support vector machine algorithm. All 3 are the algorithm that detect the outlier, but with the different accuracy. Then we have the some code, and then after that here are the shows that the isolation forest of a 73 outliers detected, and with the accuracy of 0.001. 0.9974, and that is the classification report, precision, recall, F1 score, and support. And then local outlier factor. Local outlier factor detect the 97 outlier and accuracy percent of a 99.65. And then support vector machine of accuracy 0.70 with a detecting outlier of 8,516 outliers. From that three machine learning algorithm, isolation forest is the best algorithm that we detect for the outliers and anomalies in the data set. Here we got the isolation as compared to the local outlier factor and the support vector machine. We got the 99.74% of accuracy. Then goes to the presentation. Then the conclusion we got from the exploratory data analysis, we identified the trends and patterns in the data sets, detect anomalies and outliers for the better accuracy for the model. Then recognize the fraudulent transaction with a class of a 0 and 1. And last one is the visual data graphically for better understanding. Visual data for graphically understanding means the person who have less knowledge about the field, who can also understand the by visualizing the graph. Where it is a profit or loss in a business, like that in the business. And then it comes to the Q&A session. Ma'am, you can ask a question on my topic.
Okay.
Hello.
Yes, yes. Your presentation is quite good. One more thing, like you can add reference slide as well. This will be a lot of help for the people who is actually doing your presentation.
Okay.
And you can also add your contact details on the Q&A slide. So if
Okay, ma'am.
anybody want to approach and want to know that how you have done, so he can approach you.
Okay, ma'am.
Rest, everything was good. Your flow was also good. It means that you have a clear understanding of your project.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your feedback. I will make sure that I do better in next presentation.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am.
I will provide you your review on your email.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
So we are not left with any more presenter. So we wrap up our session here. Thank you, everyone.
बहुत जल्दी हुआ आज का